Welcome to 50/50 Adventures. I'm your host, DJ JC. That's a little music for you. Just a little music for you. Just a little one of my creations I want you to get into. We'll get into that later on. But while I'm doing this podcast right now, welcome to the 50/50 Venture podcast. This is a crude but effective venture that I've been doing for a long time. Welcome. Okay, on 50/50 Venture, we talk about things that's financial, that's going to help you. Okay, and this is real talk for you. This is not no games. Okay, things that I'm talking about affect your pocket just like it affects my pocket. Okay, as I said, welcome to my podcast. I'm your host. Okay, people know me as JC. Okay, just cash, just conscious, just cooling. Okay, but you know me. And if you recognize the voice, you know I'm a regular person. You see me walking about, spending and blending just like you. I have bills to pay just like you. My rent is due on all this fancy nonsense lifestyle of living poverty-stricken America just like you. But I make these things, as I say, for solutions. Let's get down to it. 50/50 Ventures would start by a situation that I found myself in, as well as many people being hired and fired. Okay, how many times you gonna get hired and fired till you wake up and understand that you yourself have to be a business unto yourself? So let's get down to it. So once I got hired and fired a number of times, then I realized something. I was my own worst enemy. I realized one thing when I was employed. I said, you know what? All that time I was getting that money while I was working, okay, I could have had money right now. But I was doing so many things, but how could I save money while I was working? I had to pay coffee, lunch, rent, this, that, third, blah, blah, blah. I kept coming up with excuses. So 50/50 Ventures was formed out of one thing and one thing only. It's called the Million Penny Challenge. So that's how 50/50 was born, okay? Now, for those who are listening to the podcast for the first time, as I said, welcome to the podcast. This is something I've been doing for about maybe 72 months, but I went under different names, different pseudonyms, and I was feeding ideas of different things. So that's why you see the crude set up now. As we go along, you'll see me change the graphics and the sounds and all that. That's why I play a little music for you now, and I'm talking right now, so you'll get the gist of what's going on. As I said, solutions. We're going to talk about the problems, but we're going to also address a lot of the solutions that you see out here with finances. 50/50 Venture is just what the name says. It's a 50/50 venture. Your time, your money equals power, right? Or your time plus your money equals your power, right? But you also notice that in that 50/50 venture, right? If you lose time, right, you lose money. And if you lose money, you lose power. Okay, so henceforth, that's where 50/50 Venture was born, on the $1 million penny challenge. Okay, and it just so happened that this happened when I was unemployed during the summertime. So I'll tell you a quick story on it, then we'll move on to the topics of the liar in chief. Because if you're listening to this podcast right now, you just had to see a report that Trump came on TV and was lying right to the American people. But let's get back to the subject about the mini penny challenge. Listen, the mini penny challenge came out of me going around to a lot of block associations. You know how many block associations they have in New York City? All you gotta do is find the person who's the head of the block association and say, listen, I got this idea that I want to run past you to help you get money for the block association. And they say, what's the idea? And I say, do you know how many pennies you can get from the people on this block in one day, and they was like, no, this, that, and the third. So I explained to them the mini penny challenge. I said, listen, all you gotta do is put this flyer up, pass around the school, and the people where they in the neighborhood, they'll see it, and they'll contribute these pennies to it. And then when all these pennies are gathered up, then at a certain time, if you're the trusted person, you have a block party for the people on the block, and they'll go along with this with no problem. Now, do you know how many times that could have been multiplied through community after community? I said 1,000,000 pennies, which was $10,000. Okay, that buy a lot of franks and sodas and hire a DJ and a bounce house. I don't know what people do on their block association. Some people do different things with their block parties and stuff like that. But if you had 10 G's to spend on your block party, which is a year, you have a block party either once or twice a year, whatever the case may be, right? So I thought that would catch on like wildfire. It was the summertime. I went through, I don't know how many block associations, like 1,000,000 block associations. And each time I came back to these block associations, they would say they broke. I was like, how are you broke? And they'd be like, oh, well, how much you think 1,000,000 pennies is? I'll say, well, if you only got 500,000 pennies, that's like 5 G's. You know, you should have some franks and stuff for the kids or something. Nothing. Every time I go back, they would have nothing. So we stopped with that, and I took it to this level of 50/50 Ventures. I started networking with people who are into finances and entrepreneurship things, all right? Now, let me give you my background on stuff that led me on the path that I'm on right now. When I first started into the financial game, right, there was a group by the name called World Financial Group. You probably seen them on my page. That's WFG. These people taught me everything about finances, philanthropy, all that stuff. I just learned watching these people and how they did things and how they went into communities and how they did certain little operations and got people here, there, and everywhere, man. It's amazing stuff if you pay attention, beloved. All right? So that's where I got the concept of that. Time plus money equals power. If you know how to utilize your time proper and you know how to utilize your money proper, you will get power every time. That's going to give you time to do what you want, money to do what you want, and enough power to keep that going forever if you know what you're doing. Okay? That's why I said you got to be conscious of what you're doing at all times. Now, let's get back to the situation at hand. 50/50 Ventures is a financial thing. This is a financial podcast. If I had to label it, I would label it as urban financial situations. For who? For working poor and poverty-stricken people, or as we say, on people on the come up, okay? And I can show you some things about the industry out there, all right, that will show you how to get these things that you're looking to get. But these things that I'm telling you, these are not techniques. These are not get over tactics. These are tools, okay? And a tool is used to made it's ready made for your hand, like a tool. It's ready made. That's what a tool is, ready made. You know, if I can make it simple like that. Well, anyway, back to the conversation at hand. So these are different techniques how to get money and things like that, right? So this guy sitting in the White House, he comes on TV. And he starts telling all kind of lies to the American people. That's treasonous. You know that, right? That's treasonous what this guy did on TV, okay? He sat right there and did that nonsense, and he knew the majority of the people that was at stake. That was the people who didn't vote for him, by the way, okay? Buzzword and cold words is every time he's talking about the people is going to get help that need help, beloved, he's talking about the 63 million people who voted for him. And he got the names of all them people, beloved. You best to believe he got the names of all the people, all his supporters and voters. He got the name of them people. So y'all can be stunting this man about whatever. He going to come on TV and lie right to your face. Okay? And lie. The check is in the mail, help is on the way, this, that, the third. And Mike Pence standing right next to him, he's the Christian alt-right. He don't care nothing about what's going on. He thinking it's God passing judgment on you know, and people believing in this. You understand what I'm saying? You best to believe he's friends with all these people that you see on TV telling you this nonsense. All of them be talking, they call it off camera. Okay? When the mic is hot, they say whatever they want to say and tell you whatever you want to hear. But when that mic is not hot, they say, oh, what's really going to happen? Okay? Some is going to live, some is going to perish. Okay? That's where it's at right now, beloved. So anyway, so we're going to move on to the financial part of this, okay? So we're going to get to the basic. If you're listening to me on this podcast, I want you to understand. If you cannot get a million pennies in 1 year, beloved, most people think it's easy. It is not easy to get a million pennies in 1 year, beloved. As I say, when I did my first challenge, it took me like 72 months to even touch the surface of that, okay? Let me give you another funny story. Somebody once told me a penny for your thoughts. And I have a million thoughts in a day, but nobody never gave me a penny for my thoughts. That's not true. Now, I'm going to tell you this funny story. As I used to be walking around doing certain things, right? With organizations, this, that, and the third, I would have thoughts. And every time I looked down, I would see a penny on the ground. I tell you no lie, beloved. Did you hear what I said? Every time I had a thought and I looked down, I see a penny somewhere. So it was a penny for my thought every time. I was just too emboldened to pick it up. If I would have picked up every penny I spent in my lifetime, I would be 2 million deep in pennies right now, beloved. That's just a little FYI for you, okay? So don't say there's not a penny for your thought, because if you walk down any New York street at any given time, I'm guaranteed you're going to see pennies lying all over there. And here's another caveat of that story. And every penny that you see lying on the ground, that's somebody's thoughts. They just threw it to the ground. You see? Waiting for somebody else to pick up their thoughts. Never thought of it like that, right? But I digress and move on to another subject. So, now they getting everybody pumped up with these checks going to be coming in the mail and you're going to get some money and this, that, and the third and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. To rent a HRA hotel room every night with the city of New York, it costs them on a minimum, $215 per person. So you can imagine if it's one person and 3 kids or a single person. You understand what I'm saying? This is money is being forked over every single moment of the day. Not only for the staying of these people in these services, but the products that's being produced, how everything is money making to these people, beloved. You got to understand. You got to understand this in this day and time. If you're listening to this podcast, like I said, I'm your host, JC. Everybody know me as Just Cast, Just Chillin'. Most people know me by my government, but on 50/50 Ventures, we talk everything financial. We don't rant and rave about it. We talk about things that I've done, solutions that I've seen people do, and things of that nature. Okay, so let's get into the other part of people who thinking they're going to pay, pray, and play their way out the situations that's at hand now with this corona and this COVID-19 thing, okay? See, your health was the number one thing you were supposed to look out for. In a financial situation, the first thing you look out for is what is healthy for me in this situation. And we're talking financial and physical, okay? That's the first thing about finances. Finances to leave you in a good position, health-wise and wealth-wise. See, you can't have one without the other. You understand what I'm saying? If you want health, okay, you're going to have to get some wealth on this piece. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't think it's not true, in order for you to keep a good health, you got to have a wealth of knowledge, beloved. See? Think of wealth as different things. Don't keep thinking as the materialistic stuff as wealth all the time. Think as health as wealth. You understand? And how you want to spend your health wealth. You understand? Your health is worth a lot of money. And we're talking financially. Okay? It's worth a lot of money, beloved. So you got to be real careful how you spend your health capital. You understand? Some people spend their health capital 25 years and down the road after they done spent all their health capital, they have something to show for it, but they can't enjoy it because their health is done went to like nothing. So you got to be careful how you spend your health, wealth, finances, as well as your physical finances. Okay? Now let me give you another caveat of this thing of paying, playing, and praying your way out of this thing, okay? When you acquire a lot of materialistic stuff, understand this. If you're a person that like nice stuff, you can acquire a lot of nice stuff, but you got to understand one thing. One day you're not going to be here, and that nice stuff is going to go to somebody else, okay? Hopefully they'll appreciate it. Hopefully everything in life is appreciated, but the world doesn't appreciate it. When they see you with nice stuff, The world, you know, Murphy's Law kick in. What can go wrong will go wrong. You know, that's the way it is. Everything is borrowed. Nothing in life is ownership. It's all for borrowed. Okay? And for those who are in religious circles listening to this podcast, let me say it to you. They say everything that is given to you is borrowed from the Lord above. Okay? You're only the stewardship over it. Okay? And to he who is given much, much is responsibility that you're going to have from the Most High. See? That's why you see people with untold amounts of wealth out here. They're given a command. Now, you've been given the wealth now. Show love to the people. But greed and capitalism, there's no love in those two things. There's no love in the word capitalism. I don't care how you respell it. You ain't going to get no love in there. No love. Greed, there's no love in it. I don't care how many times you rearrange some letters, you ain't going to get no love in there, beloved. So you got to keep that in mind at all times, okay? Now, let me say this to you once again, okay? 50/50 Ventures is a podcast I was making a while ago. Now, if you like to hear other talk like entertainment and things like that, the other side of it is BE Entertainment, okay? That's where I talk everything in the industry of entertainment. And let me say this to you if you don't know one more time for that podcast. Entertainment encompasses everything. See? Print, media, music. Entertainment encompasses everything. Okay? So when a person asks me about the two entities that I do, I say, no, 50/50 Venture is a financial thing. Okay? It talks about different services in the community, talks about different leaders in the community. But BE Entertainment, we go hard on a lot of stuff that's happening in the entertainment field because that's where a lot of discretionary funds are spent too, in the entertainment field. Now, you're going to hear a lot of stuff in the background when I do my podcasts because a lot of areas that I'm making these podcasts from, these are open spaces. And like I said, a lot of Airbnb stuff is going on. So, you know, it is what it is. But nevertheless, we make the podcast, we move on, and we do our thing. As I said, with new opportunities come new networking. With new networking come new opportunities. It just goes hand in hand. So we're into this a little bit more. And as I said, the financial news that we just been dealt by the liar in chief or the liar and thief, it is not good. It is not good for nobody, beloved. It's not good for nobody. See, the 63 million that think that they voted for them, they think they going to get something above and beyond us poverty-stricken and so-called non-supporters of the commander-in-chief. But that's not the way it is, because we know, even though they voted for them, they voted against their best interests. They voted against their best interests. They know that. So they can sit around and play like they on a side that we ain't on, but we all on the same time. Time waits for nobody, and nobody is promised tomorrow, okay? And for all my people out there, it's not financially sound, don't worry about it. You're gonna get another chance on this thing. You're gonna get another chance on it, all right? Whatever you get in your hand, remember what I told you about that mini penny challenge, right? 1,000,000 pennies is $10,000. If you're wasting that in a day, a month, and you know people spend that in 5 months on sneakers out here, okay? And if you ask them, you say, well, yo, this, that, and they be like, listen, man, don't worry about that. I got money. But like I tell them, I know all that is true. Everybody got money, okay? And I don't know you if I don't know your bills. If I don't know your bills, I don't know you. So I can't say nothing too much. But from my experience, you can listen to what anybody say. An opinion is opinion, okay? Some people made untold fortunes on an opinion or some information somebody just gave them and they listened and followed through. So here on 50/50 Ventures, hopefully as things go along, you'll see some better graphics. I'll show you a few things, a few tricks of the trade. I want to mention this too before I leave off this thing, because we're almost maybe like a little bit into it. We're into the gig economy now. See, the gig economy is an economy where you can't be hired and fired, okay? You're a private contractor working on contract. Now, some of the people want to know, okay, I'm a person, I need a real job. Yeah, they got unions and they got all that, okay? They got contracts where you can make your salary in 1 month on a contract, or 10% of a contract, or 3% of a contract. And that's what you've been working for a whole year just to get your taxes and whatever back. That's on a contract. So if somebody brings you in on a contract and it's a multi-contract, you get percentages on these contracts, And you don't have to be running around here worried about money if you're spending it wisely. Okay? And for a lot of people out there that's investing, okay, if you don't know about the investment game, let me tell you like this. These people are insulated. That means they make money whether the stock go up or down. You're not insulated yet. You'll get to the point where you can be insulated if you listen to a few people on my page that I have financially as a guru. That's what they call them, guru. But these just people who, like anybody else, get tired of being broke and losing money. You know, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Boyd Watkins. You know, I can go deep into people who talk about this financial stuff and they serious about it. He even got a black business school. You can look that up on the web. Okay, to teach your kids about money and finance at early ages so they'll know the million dollar penny challenge by the time they reach 12 years old. They be sitting around with a million pennies on them. You be like, wow, that's deep. You see, he teach you how to do and let your kids know all about that. Okay? Think about that. Well, with that being said, as I said, man, it was bad news all around the board today on the financial front. Okay, the winners stay winners and the losers stay losers. You got to understand that. That's what I said. And now when I do the forecasting overnight tonight and watch all these companies, now see, they showing you this nonsense on the index on TV, but overnight forecasting, these people that's overseas, they're cleaning up. United States they're like vultures hovering around in the United States right now, trying to pick the bones of the United States. All these companies that had these treaties and all this nonsense with the United States, they got clauses in these contracts where they got to pay out and all this. They just sitting around with when dinner comes, you have the knife and fork just waiting. They just waiting. They just waiting. They just waiting. And by the way, for those who yelling numbers about the $2 trillion that he's about to give out, the true debt of the United States is $227 trillion. I repeat, the true value of the United States debt worldwide is $227 trillion. You can go check that number, okay? You can go check that number, okay? And let me say this also. Out of that $227 trillion that's owed, black people have got nothing out of it. Nothing. Nothing. Can you dig that? So like I said, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the information. It's going to be some more stuff. As I said, you see the screen up there. I'm just showing you the screen because as we go along, I'm going to do things with the screen and you're going to say, wow, how that happened? It's just going to be me doing a few graphics and a few things with the screen to show you some skills I got. And with that said, enjoy yourself. Right? Back to the music. Oh, by the way, I'm going to put this music on because Facebook, they got what's called a sonic sound. And if you play any popular music or any music that's in their library, they'll say you can't play that music because you don't own it. But check this out. I don't own this music. I make this music right here, so they don't got this in their library. I'm out.